Hi students, how are you all? So we are learning purification of compounds. In that series, we are going to see today crystallization. So by crystallization or crystallizing process, we can purify the compounds what we have estimated in the previous videos. Okay, right. So what is crystallization? We can take a impure compound, we should add or choose the suitable solvent. After that we should boil, then filter it. That filtrate, if you cool, you will get pure crystals. Yes. So following steps we will see now. See, in the crystallization, most of the organic compounds were purified. Okay, which having some steps. First one is we have to select the solvent. We must select the suitable solvent. So why we want to select a suitable solvent? See, which solvent will giving that more amount of yield or crystal that we should choose. That's why we need the step selection of solvent. See, in this selection, we have to take small amount of organic compound in a test tube. We can add solvent, but water we should not add because water is a polar solvent. Organic compounds are non-polar, so polar solvent cannot dissolve the non-polar organic compound. So we have to take non-polar organic solvent like benzene, chlorine, ether, alcohol, we can take it. Yes. So one by one we have to add. Which one? How will you add? You have to add small amount of solvent. Then you want to boil. Then you have to cool. Which one giving the more amount of crystal? That should be the correct or suitable solvent for that crystallization. Yes. Then we have to take preparation of solvent solution. The second step, preparation of solution. So what solution we have to prepare? Now we have chosen that solvent. We can add that minimum. How much we can add minimum? That minimum amount only we have to add, and we can dissolve the solute. Solute in the sense we are taking the organic compounds. You know that organic compounds we can dissolve with a suitable solvent. Okay. Then we have to boil depending upon the solution. Okay, so which may having high boiling point or melting point. Depending upon that, we can heat with a water bath or oil bath or in the wire gas gently, right? So depending upon that, we can heat. In this reaction we have to add one more thing, that is animal charcoal. Animal charcoal, why we should add here? Is there any color substance? We can decolorize by using animal charcoal. Okay. Yes. The third step, filtration of hot solution. Hot solution. See, we are heated, boiled, you know, that hot solution we should filter by using the filter paper, right? In the funnel we should fold that. Through that we should filter. That filtrate is called mother liquid. If you allow to cool, the fourth step, that is only called crystallization. That hot solution which is allowed to cool sometime, then we will get all the crystals were formed. That crystal further we should filter by using some special kind of filter paper. That is, we will call it another step, the fifth step. Actually, filtration, crystallization. The fifth step, separating and also drying, right? So here we can use special type of voucher funnel, sorry, voucher filter paper or funnel. By using the voucher funnel, we should separate and we have to dry. The crystal will be deposited or filtered on the filter paper that we have to dry. After that, we can store for other reactions, right? So all these steps, if you know, you can easily crystallize. Okay. Next type of purification method, distillation. I think double. Distillation. Distillation means what? See, we can separate pure compound from non-volatile impurities. If you want to remove non-volatile impurities, we can choose this one, distillation process. Okay. See here, we can separate the liquid, one liquid to other liquid. Non-volatile impurities we can remove, then one liquid to another liquid we can separate. That process also we can do by distillation process, right? So depending upon the distillation or the compound we have taken, we have three types of distillation as usual: simple distillation, then fractional distillation, the next one is steam distillation, isotropic distillation. We have four type of distillation. First we are going to see the simple distillation. So in the simple distillation, very simple, we can learn what is that. We have to take the compound, then we want to heat that liquid. We have to take aqueous solution or liquid form of that compound. So organic compound with solvent, right? Or we can take organic compound as a solution. Okay, that should be heated. We have to convert into vapor. Okay, so here only one condition: the liquid having the boiling point difference at least 40 Kelvin. It should have at least 40 Kelvin difference in their boiling point. Then we can take it for simple distillation. That vapor, because of difference in their boiling point, only one type of compound will convert into vapor. Then we can condense. We can condense this vapor. Then we can separate one liquid from other liquid. Is there any non-volatile compound that will be left out in the heating flask itself? Okay. Yes. Examples also given. In the simple distillation, we can separate nitrobenzene from benzene, right? Diethyl ether to ethyl ether, sorry, ethyl alcohol. Like we can separate these liquids in this simple distillation. Next is fractional distillation. See, in the fractional distillation, just same distillation process we will do it. Only the thing, the element, the liquids may have closer boiling point. Closer boiling point means we cannot use the difference of boiling point, you know. For that, we have to use the fractional distillation. Here we have to use fractionating column and then condenser, thermometer. All these apparatus we have to fix in that flask where we are taking that organic compound. Okay, so if you use all those things, why we are using this thermometer? We must know the difference. We cannot heat as much. Okay, so we have to know that boiling point. So we have to maintain the temperature. We have to check the temperature by using the thermometer. Why Why condenser we are using? Usually condenser, there are different type of condensers, right? So when we are heating, both liquid may go as a vapor, but which one having low boiling point, that will go up. The high boiling point again will condense in the condenser itself, it will come back. That's why we are using this condenser. Yes. Now we will get the which one having low boiling point. Low boiling point liquid we can convert first as a vapor, then we can separate two liquids in this method. See what type of liquids are separated in this method means, see, petroleum, coal tar, crude oil, coal tar, petroleum, all are separated by this fractional distillation method. Next one is steam distillation. See, in this steam distillation, we should follow certain conditions, right? If you know the conditions, then only we can use that. What are the conditions? That should not decompose on this condition. Because we are going to use only solid and liquid. We cannot use gas, okay? So it should not decompose on the reaction, okay? Some compound may decompose at high temperature. Here we will take only liquid as well solid. Gas we should not use because steam we are using. Then non-volatile impurities we can remove. It should not volatile impurity, and also the liquid we are taking, which should have low vapor pressure. Low vapor pressure the compound having means we can use, otherwise we cannot use, okay? Then insoluble in water, all those, the liquid should not soluble, insoluble compounds only in water, only we can take it. See what are the conditions we have to follow for this steam distillation, decomposition, all those things you know that, right? Next, as usual, we can pass the steam. So here we should take the flask in slanting position. It's important, right? Then we have the reservoir as well. We have the steam boiler. Okay, here we will take the organic compound. So if you heat that liquid, steam will come. It will make the mixture of vapor of organic compound also. The steam will mix with vapor of organic compound. So both will the vapor of organic compound, steam will go. So we can separate only the organic compound based on their different condensing temperature or cooling temperature. So this process is called steam distillation. In the steam distillation, we can separate oil or some liquids from the flowers and the plants. Oil from flower and plants we can prepare or we can separate by steam distillation. The next type of distillation, azeotropic. What do you mean azeotropic? See, we cannot use any distillation method. Previously we have studied means you can use that compound only can distill with the azeotropic method, means they are called azeotropies. The organic compound is called azeotropies. So why they are called azeotropic means they are having constant boiling point. Because of their constant boiling point, we cannot use any other distillation process. For example, water and alcohol having 95.7 is 12, I think. Sorry, 4.13 ratio of boiling point difference ratio they are having. Okay, so which one having this constant ratio and constant boiling points, we can use the azeotropic distillation method. Okay. Here we will use the third component. Already we want to separate two liquids. Third component we will add like carbon tetrachloride, glycol, glycerol, benzene. All this used as a dehydrating agent. What do you mean dehydration? Removal of water. Dehydration means what? Removal of water. So by using this we can remove the water, dehydrating agent. So and they are acting as a low vapor pressure. They are reducing the, or we can say reduce vapor pressure of any one liquid. See, we will take X, Y, two liquids. Any one of the liquid vapor pressure will be decreased by this third component, dehydrating agent. So we will make, or we will get some difference in their boiling point. By using that we will separate the liquids. Okay. Yes, specifically we can use certain third dehydrating agent. See, benzene carbon tetrachloride, which makes low vapor pressure of water than alcohol. Suppose if you take glycerol or glycol, which makes low vapor pressure of alcohol than water. That difference we must know. So the next one is very simple distillation, separation method, that is differential extraction. What do you mean differential extraction? See, because of their solubility, right, we will take one funnel, that is called a separating funnel. See the structure of separating funnel like this. We have cork, then we can use stopper here, right? So we have to take the organic compound, then we can add some water. What are the things we have to take? Organic compound as well as water. See, organic compounds are insoluble in water, so it will make that the impurities will form separate layer. Then if you use suitable solvent, any organic solvent, that organic compound will dissolve with the organic solvent like benzene ether. So after adding water we have to mix it well. Then what happen? It will form two separate layers. So we can open this cork, only first layer we can separate, then second layer. In between we have to shake well, and also we have to keep it for some time to separate two layers. Afterwards we can separate the liquids. This funnel is called a separating funnel. This process only called a differential extraction. Now the very important topics, that is called chromatography. See, chromatography is an important technique used to separate as well as purify the compounds. Chromatography, right? So chromatography means what? Chromo means color, right? So based on their color, if you separate, that process is called, named as chromatography. In first, the scientist M.S. Twitt, Russian botanist, only used this type of chromatography. He has taken the chlorophyll for the separation. He filled with a glass column which was filled with the stationary phase calcium carbonate. He passed through that, depending upon their degree of movement, okay, degree of mobility. That means one particular compound will move fast, some will move later, right? Depending upon their degree of motion, he got different zones or land. They say different land or zones, right? Because of that, their degree of motion different, we will get different compartment like zones. That that will help to separate the compound. Okay, this method only called chromatography. See, we have two important terms or parts in this chromatography. One is stationary phase, another one is mobile phase. See, what do you mean stationary phase? It will not move anywhere. It can be fixed in certain place. But mobile phase, that is like a solvent, it will move from one end to another end. Right? The stationary phase may be solid or liquid. Mobile phase becoming gas or liquid. Because solid cannot move, you know. Yes. Here one more thing we must know, that what is that? If the stationary phase solid, then we can use the process adsorption. We want to use the process adsorption process. If the stationary phase is liquid, we will use partition separation process, right? So these processes are important. Then based on their stationary phase, we have the different type of chromatography. First one is column chromatography, thin layer chromatography, paper chromatography, gas liquid chromatography, ion exchange chromatography. These are the types of chromatography we have. But in our 11th, we have only 3 types of chromatography. We are first dividing into two. One is adsorption chromatography, another one is partition chromatography. In adsorption chromatography, we are going to learn column chromatography and thin layer chromatography. In the partition chromatography, we are going to see only paper chromatography. Okay, right. The first one is in the adsorption chromatography. First one is column chromatography. So before that, what is adsorption chromatography? By using the adsorbing character, degree of different adsorbing character, we will use the adsorbent. So the adsorbent maximum we will use silica gel as well aluminium oxide. We can say alumina. These are the mostly common adsorbent, silica gel and alumina, right? So by using this adsorbent, the compounds were adsorbed in different zones. That is called adsorption chromatography. In that adsorption chromatography, first we are going to see column chromatography. So what is column chromatography? First we have to take a thick glass tube. We will take glass tube with knob. In the bottom, we have to use cotton or glass wool, because that it should support that stationary phase. Then we can fill the stationary phase, right? Then the top we can use that eluent. Eluent means that compound with a solvent, right? The organic compound with solvent or organic compound itself liquid, we can add in the top. Okay, then what will happen? Depending upon their different type of adsorption, it will go down slowly, right? If you see after some time, we can have different zones depending upon their different chemical compounds or organic compounds will move different adsorption. So because of that, we will get different color, okay, in that column. That's why that is called a column chromatography. Okay, see here maximum we will use stationary phase aluminum oxide as well as starch magnesium oxide. We can use as a adsorbent. Then what will happen? At last we will get the separation takes place. So we can separate that zones separately. Then we will separate all the organic compound in that mixture. Now the Next type of chromatography, thin layer chromatography. See, thin layer chromatography, instead of taking the glass column, in the column chromatography, we are going to take a glass plate. We will take a glass plate, right? So the glass plate, we will apply the adsorbent. Here we will use adsorbent. We will apply the adsorbent. Then what will happen? It will ready to stationary phase, right? Then we have to take the liquid solvent or that organic compound. We will take it. We will tip the bottom only 1 centimeter length. We will tip in the solution. We cannot tip fully, right? Then what will happen? Due to their adsorption character, the solvent will move towards upwards. Then what will happen? Because of that adsorption character, different compound will move with different degree of motion or different rate of speed, rate of adsorption. So we'll get different component or zones. We can separate the compound. But here thin layer chromatography is used for very minimum quantity of organic compounds. That is important, right? Here we will use some formula. What is that? RF, retention factor. Retention factor is equal to, see, distance moved by the substance from the baseline. Here we will draw one baseline. Okay, so distance moved by substance, we can say organic compound, divided by distance moved by solvent. We'll take solvent, solvent along with organic compound will go up, right? Solvent may go up to the end of another end. So that distance we have to calculate. Based on that, we will find retention factor. So by using the retention factor, we can say the different adsorption rate. Okay. Then here colorless compound means we can see in the plate itself different color we can see. Suppose colorless compound means we can use UV light or we can use iodine crystal. I2 crystals also we can use to find the different adsorption. At last, one type of partition chromatography, that is paper chromatography, we are going to see, right? The same procedure we can use in the thin layer chromatography. Only thing, the place of glass we will take paper. It is not ordinary paper, it is different or it is unique quality paper which is used. The same procedure we can take it. The solution is taken, the paper kept, one end should be touched, but different thing we'll use here water. As usual, any adsorbent, here we are not going to supposed to use any adsorbent. Instead of that, we will make some spots of the organic compound. Okay. Then when that solvent moving upwards, based on their movement, what will happen? Different compound will go different distance. For example, I can write here. See, we will make spot of organic compound. Then here we have solvent. Then solvent will go up. It will dissolve with the organic compound. It will go up. Certain organic compound will stop here. Other organic compound will go. So like that, depending upon the different character of movement, it will go different level. Based on that, we can separate the compound. This chromatography is called paper chromatography. Here also we can use color, based on the color or UV light to find the different chemical compound. Thank you.